Hello everyone, I'm Sean.
This is Hoon.
We are the Courageour Frights, back once again for another movie review.
Yes.
And this time we did the Last Voyage of the Demeter.
Yes, we did. What is the ship called?
What is the ship called? Yeah.
The Last Voyage of the Demeter.
According
to Google.
Yeah. When I was looking up information about this, it was like the Google most searched things or whatever, and somebody asked, what's the name of the ship in the Last Voyage?
Yeah. It's like, I don't know, its name is Dracula.
Yeah, the name is Dracula. So, this, of course, is based on the book Dracula.
The one paragraph in the book in Dracula.
Yeah, basically. It's pretty much like one chapter, but it's like the shortest chapter in literary history. And this is this tale, of course, about how Dracula got from Romania to England.
Yes.
It's in almost every major version of the Dracula storyline, but it's usually like 5 to 10 seconds.
Yeah, because it's like stories like they go on a ship or whatever, and the ship like docks or something, and it's like everyone's dead on
everybody's
the board.
dead on the ship.
Which I think is Renfield is on the ship in the book, isn't it? I can't remember.
I don't remember either.
Or unless he was like later on.
Maybe. Maybe he went on a different ship or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about that. But yeah, so it's kind of telling, it's sort of a way to tell the Dracula story in a way that's never really been done before, because you're adapting the part of the story that hasn't gotten any kind of focus.
Yeah. And it pretty much doesn't have really any backstory to other than people are dead on the ship.
Right. And this is kind of it's sort of like Alien in the 19th century, which I think is how this movie was pitched anyway.
Yeah, this does have like a very alien feel to it.
Because it's basically the movie Alien, but it's 1897 and you're on like an old sailing ship. So this film was directed by André Øvredal, who is a Norwegian director. He did Troll Hunter and several other, I think he's done almost exclusively horror.
Oh, okay.
And it stars Corey Hawkins, who's playing a character called Clemens, who's sort of like a Van Helsing character.
Yeah, he does have that feeling to him.
He's almost like he's written like he's supposed to be Van Helsing, but instead of like race swapping or whatever, an established character, they just decide to make a brand new character who is pretty interesting.
Yeah, he's a pretty good character. I do like. Hopefully, if they would ever make another movie of this, they could focus on him, and he would probably be pretty decent.
Right, and it doesn't necessarily intervene or like interfere with the Dracula story.
Yeah,
because you could have this guy like stalking Dracula, but he didn't play part in any of the major events. So like that could be the case. So he's the main lead. The actor Corey Hawkins was in Kong Skull Island and some other films, but our audience probably knows him from Skull Island. And then you also have Aisling Franciosi. She's the one that plays the woman that they find, the Romani woman.
And she's like her like livestock almost.
Yeah, basically. She's an Irish-Italian actress. She was in a really good movie I watched fairly recently called Nightingale that was made by the director of The Babadook.
Oh, okay.
And that was like an Australian period piece, like dealing with colonialism and like Tasmania, I think. And so she did a really good job in this. And then we have Liam Cunningham, who plays the captain. He was in a bunch of different movies. He's a face a lot of people probably recognize, but maybe didn't know the name. And he plays a Roman a lot in movies for some reason. He's another Irish actor. And he was in Dog Soldiers.
Oh, I guess he was in Dog Soldiers.
Which is interesting because at one point, this film was supposed to be directed by Neil Marshall.
Oh, was it?
That's when I first heard about it.
Oh, yeah. Because I think we did our podcast the one time.
Yeah.
We talked about this movie like a long time ago.
Yeah,
it was like a while ago.
3 years ago or something like that. Yeah. No, this film's been in production since like 2000.
Yeah.
At some point. Because I guess the idea behind this film was the guy who pitched it initially, who like wrote the script and stuff, he befriended somebody who worked on the Bram Stoker's Dracula film from the 90s.
Oh, okay.
And I guess the guy had the model prop of the ship from the movie, and he was talking to him about it or something like that, and he's like, well, that's a really cool story idea that's never been done in a movie.
Yeah.
And I think they even said it's like Alien on a ship.
It does feel like that.
So that's how it started. But the first draft was like in 2002 or 2003 or something.
How long this movie's been in development.
So this movie's been in development for like 20 some years. And then, of course, the other main actor is our boy David Dastmalchian.
Yeah, there he is.
He's back.
He's back, even though he looks like someone from this time period.
Yeah, he's playing like the first mate or something.
He's like the first mate. Like the first one was like the captain's like, I'm gonna retire after this. Like this is my last day before retirement.
Right.
Then he dies.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say that to you when he said that. I was like, 2 weeks from retirement.
Yes.
So
tried a saxophone sting in there. That's all it needed.
Yeah. And the guy who plays Dracula in this is Javier Botet, who's like a Spanish actor who has some kind of I don't know if it's like a genetic disorder or something, but it makes him like really tall and skinny. So he plays monsters in a lot of like Spanish horror films. He was in like Wreck, and I think he was the basis for like Mama and like all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So. But it's he's in a lot of Spanish horror films. And Bear McCreary did the music for this.
Which I was like, oh, I kind of, when I saw the after credits or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I guess I was like surprised, but not surprised because it sounds like a Bear McCreary album.
Yeah, it was pretty epic soundtrack.
Yeah.
So this is kind of a mid-tier budget film, which is the type of stuff that I like to see.
Yeah, which needs to be done probably in Hollywood at this point.
Yeah, it's like a $40 million, $45 million budget, which is actually quite high for a horror film, but much lower than like your typical.
I wonder if it probably. I'm assuming the CGI was the most expensive part of this movie.
Yeah, probably.
And probably since it's been going on since 2003 or whatever.
Yeah,
it's probably in so many reshoots or rewrites, probably cost some money.
Yeah, it sounds a bit like there may have been a Thing 2011 or 2010 situation going on here, because I was reading that it took like 4 hours to get the Javier into the makeup and the prosthetic suit. So obviously there was practical effects involved, and then they overlaid it with some kind of CG thing.
Yeah,
which I didn't think was terrible, but you noticed that there was some.
It's not it's just like a nitpick. It's not like it doesn't like pull away from the movie or anything, but you could definitely tell. They didn't have very much. I don't know if they didn't have like as much budget in the CG, because there was parts where it's like, okay, that doesn't look the greatest.
Yeah. But. And then there's one thing about that too is the entire film, almost all the scenes with Dracula are in the dark during a storm.
Yeah.
And the problem with that is a lot of people think that they do that to cover up like CG imperfections.
Yeah.
But in reality, that actually makes it so much harder for the visual effects people, because then they have to also render the rain and the wind and the rocking of the ship and everything else. So, like, I don't know if that really was there to hide the effects or just to enhance the storyline. I don't know. And one thing, this film, for anybody who's into like old school horror films, this film reminds me almost more of like a Hammer film than a Universal.
Oh yeah.
It had way more of that kind of going on. The whole like the blood transfusion stuff.
Yeah.
Reminded me of like one of the Hammer like Horror of Dracula or something like that, where Peter Cushing does that, where he gives somebody a blood transfusion out of nowhere without checking blood types or anything like that.
You're like, oh, we need a blood transfusion to get this poison out of her. Like,
yes. Everyone apparently has the same blood type.
Yeah. I'm surprised that guy was even walking. He was like giving blood transfusions for like a week.
Yeah, you know. Straight. I was thinking about that too. But I mean, it was like the 19th century. Yeah. So I guess it was just sort of a trial and error, and then, hey, it worked, or hey, it didn't work.
It didn't work.
We don't know why. It was because I don't think they knew about blood types yet.
No, I'm pretty sure they didn't.
They kind of knew the idea of blood transfusions, but they may not have. I'm just spitballing here. I mean, this may be entirely wrong, and they did know what blood types were, but I don't think they did.
Probably not.
But one thing I do know is that there was at least one Hammer Dracula film with Peter Cushing as Van Helsing, where he does this exact same thing. So I'm thinking that may have been an homage to that.
Yeah, probably.
And in case anyone's... I don't think it's too much of a spoiler to say that basically everyone dies in this movie.
Yeah.
Our main guy, Clemens, survives because he like jumps off and ends up like on a piece of driftwood or something.
Because their plan, I guess... This is like major spoilers territory. Their plan is to sink the ship.
Yeah.
With Dracula in it, but that didn't happen.
They probably should have waited until daytime for that.
Yeah, I know. It's like, why did you wait till nighttime?
To be fair, I don't think they didn't know he could fly.
Yeah, they were like, oh, I didn't know he could fly. He's like,
yeah,
he could fly?
He could fly. He has wings?
He has wings?
Oh, they fly now! They fly now? They fly now!
They didn't know that, I don't
Actually, the one thing I was like, there's a plot hole kind of, because they should have just did opening up all the stuff in the beginning, like when it's daytime, because you know it came out at night.
Yeah.
Just do it during the daytime and be like, oh yeah, there's a body laying in here.
Yeah, he goes down into the hold and like decides to open up all the
Yeah, this is like after like 3 weeks.
Yeah, in the middle of the night.
Yeah, it's like
they go down to do this, and it's like, shouldn't you wait till day?
Yeah.
Like,
they know it doesn't come out until nighttime.
Right.
Do it during the daytime.
But I guess the main idea is they don't really know how this stuff works.
Yeah.
They're just sort of figuring it out.
Yeah.
So, but they do have that one guy that turned into a vampire who just like burst into flames. So
like, oh, maybe we should not do this during the nighttime.
So they do know that the sunlight kills them.
And the one guy, they should have actually the one David Dastmalchian character should have put 2 to 2 together, because the first thing that the guys when the guys are bringing the luggage, like the Romanian guys or whoever those villagers are, they're like, we got to get back to our village before nighttime.
Yeah.
He specifically says that to him. The guy's like, why are you saying before nighttime?
Right.
Then they wong off because they're trying to get back.
Well, he just writes it off as superstitious.
He should have been like, wait a second, why they said something about nighttime a long time ago when we first got over here?
Yeah.
There must be some sort of connection.
There must be something going on. Yeah, so I mean, there's a few instances of plot holes or characters doing some mildly stupid things, but it doesn't really.
Yeah.
I don't think it takes you out of the movie.
No.
Overall, I would highly recommend this film.
Yeah, it's pretty decent for a horror movie for this time of year or whatever.
Yeah, it's time of year. I mean, some people were like, "Oh, they should have held off till October," but I mean, October's chock full of horror films. So.
I don't think they should have, because being in development hell for that long.
Yeah,
they should just bring it out now or whenever.
Right, because October. Yeah, everybody thinks, oh, you should release it in October, and it's like, yeah, but there's already every week there's a new horror film. The Exorcist is coming out, which, as dumb as that looks, that's gonna make way more money than this, just because of the name.
Because of the name alone.
And it's a Blumhouse thing.
And Five Nights at Freddy's or whatever.
I was surprised at that, because I've heard about Five Nights at Freddy's. Speaking of developmental hell, Five Nights at Freddy's has been in development for ever.
Yeah, we had an advertisement for the trailer.
Yeah, they had a whole trailer for that, and I didn't even know the trailer was out
before this movie even was started.
I didn't even know they started filming that movie.
Yeah, I thought it was still being in rewrite phase or something.
Yeah, apparently they filmed the whole movie and finished it, and it's coming out in 2 months or something.
Yeah. Okay.
The unofficial sequel to Willy's Wonderland.
Yes. Pretty much.
But yeah, anyway, Last Voyage of the Demeter I thought was a fantastic film, in my opinion, but I'm not difficult to please. Take a good, strong period piece, then mix it with horror, and I'm good.
I really liked the boating scenes, actually.
Yeah.
It's obviously they were on a boat or something. I don't know if it was a set or something, but it looked pretty good.
That stuff looked good, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it was on an actual boat or not.
Yeah.
But it was pretty decent. It looked really good.
Yeah, it did. I liked all the period stuff looked authentic.
Yeah, it looked really good.
This kind of also reminded me of the Wolfman that was made in 2010 or something like that. That was set in the 1890s.
Yeah.
Some people really like that movie. Some people hate it for some reason. But I'm more in the camp for that one. Or Peter Jackson's King Kong, where they went back to the exact period and tried to replicate. The movie's almost trying to replicate the time period as much as it's trying to tell this story.
Which Peter Jackson, I think, is pretty decent. To do that.
I like both of those. So this, to me, is similar in that style.
Yeah.
So I like that a lot. So yeah, I would give this a strong recommendation. I think you would.
Yeah, I gave it. It's pretty good. The only thing is, I kind of wonder if Universal, if this, I guess it didn't do as well in the box office. So
it didn't do well at all.
I was like, maybe this could be the start of the Dark Universe again.
Yeah.
But not be an action movie, but be an actual horror itself. Because the original monster movies, from the Universal, are all independent movies, anyways.
Yeah.
They just be rebrand this as the dark universe or whatever.
Right. You don't even need to do a dark universe really, because I understand why Universal tried that.
Yeah.
Because they were trying to like ride off the success of the MCU or whatever.
Yeah.
And the fact that the Universal monster movies are sometimes touted as like the original MCU format, but they're not really.
No.
Because if you go back and watch those movies in order, they don't have anything to do with each
they're
other.
just like its own movies.
Yeah, there's no continuity.
They're like this. Like this was part of like a dark universe thing. It'd be like this.
Right. Yeah, like this. They're
And
about
like,
as connected as this and Dracula Untold or whatever.
Yeah.
Like all that stuff is about as connected as the original Universal.
Or like the Invisible Man that came out a couple years ago.
Yeah. Which I still have never seen.
Which I heard it was good.
Yeah, I heard it's really good too.
That was like during COVID, so I
Yeah.
think like that was like the movie like won an Oscar because that was like the only movie that came out.
That's the only movie. We're gonna get that pretty soon. 'Cause
Yeah.
we got that writer's strike still going on.
Yeah.
And at some point, there's gonna be almost nothing but horror films coming out.
Because they're like all independent. Because they're like the only ones that like settled already.
Yeah, because the union went to all these studios, and I don't know what the other one said, but I know Disney said that they had unrealistic demands or something. But they sat down those same demands with executives from, I think, Blumhouse and A24, and both studios were like, yeah, that's fair.
It's like, who cares?
So Blumhouse is still making stuff, and A24 is still making stuff. And that's going to be it. You're going to have nothing but A24, Blumhouse, and like foreign films.
Independent movies, maybe?
Yeah, for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, until this gets resolved. Which...
Yeah, it's like you got probably about a slate of films that'll probably run until like mid next year.
Yeah.
And then after that, there's going to be nothing for months.
Yeah.
So, like, that'll be interesting to see how that works.
Yeah, which... I know we talked about this podcast before, but like... with the theaters and stuff already struggling from before, I don't know if they could survive this.
Yeah, I don't know, because they're already struggling. Well, that's what I mean. Like, if they want to continue surviving at all, they're going to give top billing to A24, Blumhouse, maybe start bringing foreign films over, because that's the only thing they're going to have.
People are going to go watch it in theaters.
So they're going to have, like... they're going to have to fill those seats with those screens with something.
Yeah.
So you're going to get more of that possibly.
They're going to show like older movies again.
They could do that too.
Like show like Jaws.
Yeah, they could do that because they were doing that during COVID.
Yeah, which I don't mind that, to be honest.
That's kind of cool because you get to go see movies that you may or may not have seen, but you haven't seen in the theater.
Like Jurassic Park.
Yeah, I saw
that's a good movie to watch in theaters.
Yeah, I saw Jurassic Park when it came out in 3D or whatever. Like 10 years ago, whatever that was.
Yeah.
So, and they may have replayed Jurassic Park in limited theaters this year because this is the 30th.
I think it was like a 30th anniversary. I think they showed it in theaters again.
Yeah.
I think the one that kind of local to us was they showed it in theaters.
Okay.
Like it was like in one of the cities, but
yeah,
it was like a local theater. They were showing it.
Yeah, like they might do that more, but I think a lot of the films that are going to be released are going to be these mid to low tier, like horror films.
Yeah, which is going to be like,
it's going to be kind of, it could be an exciting time for film fans though, because that's similar. It could be in a way similar to what happened in the 70s.
Yeah,
when the studios basically went bust, and then you had all these independent filmmakers.
Yeah.
And that's how you got movies like The Exorcist and Jaws and like all that kind of stuff.
Because they can do whatever they want.
Right. And Star Wars and like everything came out of that era where studio involvement was much lower.
Which I think the reason why it works better is you're not going to have these massive budgets.
That has to stop.
Yeah, because they don't have the studios backing anything, so...
Right, and...
you're not going to have the massive budgets because they can't pay for them.
With or without the writer's strike, that has to stop.
Yeah, it's way too much.
It's not sustainable, especially these superhero things.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see what James Gunn does. Rumor has it his Superman movie's like at a $70 million range,
which is not too bad.
That's like a mid-tier budget for that. But movies like this, even though this did abysmally in the box office, these type of movies are probably the only thing the studios are going to be able to push out. Is stuff that's in like the 40 to 80 million range. You can't be doing these 300 million range like 4 or 5 times a year like they've been doing.
To get bombed, especially if they're bombing like all the time.
Most of them are. like this year there haven't been too many successful hits. You got Barbie,
which that movie wasn't that expensive either. I don't think.
It probably wasn't.
I think the most was them buying all the pink paint in the world.
Probably.
And there was like a shortage after that movie came out.
Yeah.
And Oppenheimer when he made his nuke.
Yes. Yeah, Oppenheimer made a lot of money too, but that's another one. It's like $100 million budget or something. Like, it's not a lot.
And it's like, I think it just broke the record for the highest grossing movie that never got first place.
Yeah.
Because
Barbie took everything. Because Oppenheimer made like exactly half as much as Barbie.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
Yeah.
But Barbie made so much money.
Yeah.
Barbie's actually the highest grossing domestic film ever. Like, in the U.S.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It topped Dark Knight.
That's surprising.
It's like, really? Okay.
So Batman got beat out by Barbie.
Barbie beat him up.
So now we're going to have that Mattel Cinematic Universe.
Yes, the Mattel Cinematic Universe is happening.
We have Barbie and who else is Mattel?
I don't know. Well,
Hot Rods or whatever. Whatever that stupid car thing.
They could be. We'll talk about that in a.
Where's the B-52 bomber from the? Was it the ColecoVision or whatever?
Oh my god.
B-52 bomber.
Yeah, we need that.
By Mattel.
By Mattel. Yeah. So like, Red Letter Media made fun of that before because they were talking about the Hasbro Cinematic Universe,
Yes.
And then Mattel came out with their lists of films. And then this past week, Hasbro came out with a list, so now they actually did predict the future.
Yeah, because of Barbie.
Because of Barbie. Yes. But
So-
also because of Barbie, films like this, the Last Voyage of the Demeter,
Is now in the dumpster.
yeah, it sank beneath the waves.
Yeah, it
before
sank beneath the wave, even though it's a good movie.
It's a good movie. I would say if you like horror, which you probably do if you're on this channel,
Yeah.
I would definitely go
Which-
check this one out.
This movie, like this year specifically, it's weird. They had a lot of good movies that came out,
Yeah.
but no one watched them. Literally, no one watched them.
Yeah.
Like Dungeons and Dragons came out. That was a good one.
Yeah. Well,
But no one watched it.
Dungeons and Dragons was on Hasbro's list of films.
Oh, was it?
Yeah,
Oh,
that
okay,
they're
so
planning
they
on
might-
doing stuff
Okay,
with.
so that was one of them that because that movie bombed, but it had a pretty bloated budget because of the CG that was in it.
Yeah, they had to do 500% facial animation
and
on
it's
Chris
like-
Pine.
That was like a movie where it probably didn't need as much CG in it, but it's being like a Dungeons and Dragons movie.
Yeah.
You like have to, unless you want to do like practical, which
Well, another thing that was on Hasbro's list was Magic the Gathering, which that could be
Yeah.
a thing too.
because I know Magic the Gathering is like very big and like
Well, anything
Like
that has
Dungeons
an
and Dragons type of thing.
expansive fantasy world.
yeah, because that has like commanders and like planes and everything else.
Yeah, like you could. That could definitely be something.
Yeah.
It's where it becomes stupid is when it's like based on just like a toy.
Yeah.
Like Uno or something.
Oh
is on
yeah,
the
Uno
list.
Uno the movie.
They did like Hungry Hippos the movie or
Like
something.
reverse Uno, whatever
Yeah.
play card or whatever. Reverse
Draw
Uno.
4.
Draw 4. You didn't say Uno.
What are they gonna do Uno as like?
I don't know how it's gonna even work.
I don't know how that would work. Although they did Battleship somehow.
Which I heard, like I've never seen Battleship, but
I have. It's
Battleship
all-
apparently was actually not that
It's
bad.
actually all right. Like
Yeah.
it's entertaining as like a dumb sci-fi movie. It has
Whereas-
almost nothing to do with Battleship, but it's
I mean, they already have like. I guess the only thing that would make you think of if they did Uno would be like, yeah, Gran Turismo came out. It's
Yeah.
about like an actual event that actually happened. It's
Yeah,
not
like
about
some
the
kinda-
actual game.
yeah,
It's
some
about,
kind
like-
of tournament or something.
It'd be like someone playing Uno for like 4 days straight.
Yeah.
Because I could see that happening.
Well, yeah.
Like I play my Uno tournament that's been 4 days and it's gonna be like really extreme.
But then it would be like that
Close-ups.
stupid tag movie or whatever with Jeremy Renner, where they talk about the longest game of tag in
yeah.
history. Went on for like decades.
It's probably
or
gonna
something.
happen. It's probably gonna be the same thing. It'd be like it's gonna have like close up to their face and they'll be sweating and be like,
Yeah.
I got my last card. Can I put this down before someone says Uno?
It's so stupid.
And then they're gonna put it's gonna be like an anime opening. They're gonna put it down and be like, Uno.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I gotta do another 5 cards. And it's just gonna keep going and on. And it's gonna be them like have like dramatic elements in it.
Yes.
It'd be like, oh, my family left me because all I did was play Uno. No, I need to win this tournament to get my family back.
They could do like some kind of mafia film or something, like a poker tournament.
Yeah.
It's about Uno.
That would be the Uno movie.
Yeah, I don't know how that's gonna work.
That's what it's gonna be. It's gonna be extreme dramatic playing of Uno.
Yes.
Be like just weird things. It's like I left my family. I became a family man after I won this tournament.
Exactly.
Like I'm gonna win the $5 grand prize and go buy my smoke so I can go back to my family.
Nice.
'Cause I left and never came back. I saw someone playing Uno in the middle of Times Square, then just never left.
Cool. All right, so that is our review. The Last Voyage of the Demeter.
Yes.
So go check it out.
Yes.
And if you like this rambling nonsense, consider subscribing for more content like that in the future. We plan on bringing back the movie news, which is probably where that last 20 minutes conversation should have belonged.
Demeter, the Last Voyage of Demeter is a perfect place for Uno conversation.
Exactly. Where else are you going to talk about Uno?
Yeah.
And if you like this review, give it a thumbs up. And thanks for watching. See ya.
See ya.